Hola, buenas noches. Bienvenidos a todos. Good evening. Welcome to En Casa con la Plaza. My name is Abelardo de la Peña Jr. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications and the host of En Casa con la Plaza, bringing you the best of Latino art, history, and culture from our home to yours. But today I'm at my second home, La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. Those of you on Zoom, please use the chat feature. Let us know where you're viewing from. You can make comments, ask questions if you'd like. We welcome them. Those of you on Facebook, welcome as well. Use the comment section. Let us know where you're viewing from. You can ask questions, make comments. We welcome them as well. We'll be taking them at the end of the session tonight. Anyway, let's see. Thanks to our sponsors, CVS Health and Aetna and Union Pacific Foundation. Funding has also been provided by the California Humanities and the National Endowment for the Humanities as part of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 and the Institute of Museum and Library Services, advancing, supporting, and empowering America's museums, libraries, and related organizations. Whew, mouthful. Also, La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, we're open almost every day of the week except for Tuesdays. We'll be open tomorrow and the next day from 10 to 5. We'll be closed on Monday and Tuesday just for next week, but usually we're closed on Tuesday. All of our exhibitions are open, including the latest Patriotism in Conflict, Fighting for Country and Comunidad, which centers around the Chicano Moratorium of 1970, August 29th, 51st anniversary. We do ask you to meet our health requirements, which are proof of vaccination or an exemption for those 12 and over, and also wearing a mask while you're here. All right, one more thing, Calle Principal, we've decorated it so beautifully. And we are also working with ABC7 and the fire department for the Spark of Love gift exchange. So bring your donations that'll support this worthy cause. All right, with that, let me bring on our host with the most, El Gran Dan Guerrero. Please join us, Dan.
Hello, welcome, welcome. How are you? I like that better. One time you introduced me as a hostess with a mostess, and it left me a little flummoxed. I don't mind saying.
But it rhymed.
Yeah, I know, but you know, la-di-da. But anyway, happy holidays, right? Oh my God, they're here.
They are here. And we got a lot of things going on here at La Plaza. Of course, we talked about the Spark of Love, our joint venture with ABC7 and our first ever holiday decorations here at Calle Principal. But there's something else going on. Why don't you tell us about it, Dan?
Oh, well, we already, tonight we have a fantastic guest, a real pistol, a genuine pistol. We go back a long way and I just love her and she's going to be great. But we have our holiday show coming up on December 17th. And we have, oh my God, this is going to be wild. We have had 2 guests before, but we've never had 3 in one show. And as you see, we have Sandra Valls, Maria Russell, and Diana Yanes with their Latina Christmas special. They're not doing the show. You know, they have an off-Broadway show. It played here at LATC, and it's going to be live at full musical show at A Noise Within, that wonderful venue in Pasadena. And they're going to be performing it there on the 14th and 15th. You can go to anoisewithin.org for tickets, 7:30, and it's a wonderful show. And then on that Friday the 17th, they're just going to be those 3 local ladies talking about more than just the show, which is going to be really fun. So zoom in for that. But I started decorating too. So La Plaza isn't the only one decorating, by the way. I had a friend over this afternoon. He said, and boxes, I've never seen so many ornaments. I've been collecting them for what, 50 years. I mean, I'm an ornament freak, and everywhere I travel, I bring back ornaments. I used to have 1 tree, then I had 2 trees, then I started to put the ornaments on garlands, and I'm gonna have to move out and just have decorations here all year.
Yeah, just don't take them down.
Huh?
Just
I
don't
know,
take it down.
right? I had a friend who kept a live tree up till April. It was not pretty at all. Anyway, I think you should go take a rest, and we're going to, I'm going to introduce our special guest for tonight. How about that? Oh, wow, he's not kidding. He really left. Okay, so I've been thinking about this, and I'd have to say dynamic, electric, versatile, Those are understatements, believe me, when we talk about tonight's guest. She's had a very long career, and there's something to be learned about how to survive in show business. But Renee Victor is not just surviving, she is thriving. And I want to show you just a little tiny reel here of the many faces of Renee Victor before we bring on the real deal. So can we take a look, Abelardo? I want more, don't you? Let's get it. Zoom in, Renee Victor. Are you there? Oh, look at you. You look beautiful.
Merry Christmas, Dan.
Merry Christmas, Mija. What's in that beautiful glass?
It's some eggnog and brandy.
Good girl. I'm having my regular old ordinary thing. Here's to you, my dear. Here's to you and to the holidays.
Salud and Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad, of course.
And don't forget, you still owe me a bowl of frijoles borrachos that you make so well.
I've got that on my list, and I'm all in the cupboard just waiting for you.
Okay, right after the holiday. Let me ask you, Mija, when you see that reel we just sent, and do you remember any of those ladies? Do you remember any of them? I mean, your whole life must be flashing.
Each and every one of them, of course. Yes, I do. There's some Lake Tahoe, there's some Tokyo, there's some New Zealand, there's some Los Angeles, there's all the places where I've worked. And yes, I recall, brought back so many memories. Dan, I had no idea you had that.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. And we're going to talk about it later, but you were always a fashion plate. Those photos, and each one was fantastic. And they kind of, they flash on a certain part of your career in those years. So I would imagine you do remember all those times. And we're going to talk a lot about them in a minute. But before we do, I just want to talk over all about surviving in this business. Now, you're being so multi-talented, and indeed you are. You sing, you dance, you act, you do voice, you do everything. Aside from that, how do you survive this business? You're hot one year and you're not the next.
Well, that's such a complex question, and so it will gather a complex answer. You have to have nerves of steel. You have to have the skin of a rhinoceros. You have to grit your teeth quite often. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes I have, and sometimes I didn't. But sometimes I did. And you know something, Dan? I think in a way I have probably instigated some changes and hopefully created some changes by simply speaking up and complaining and requesting that certain things be changed and accepted a certain way. That's one of the ways I've survived. The other way is that I know no way other than to go forward. All my life, that's been my attitude. The glass is always half full for me, and problems, yes, we'll always have them. But I also think that along with problems, you have to have the strength and the stamina and the faith to just simply go forward and tell yourself, fix this, get it done, do it, and do it now.
Fantastic. I have 47 questions to go now with what you just said. First of all, I do agree with you. I'm big on moving forward. It doesn't mean I know
Yes.
what I'm doing half the time, but
What else
I
can
move
you do?
forward. I move
Sure.
forward no matter what. Now, sometimes moving forward requires a turn to the left, a turn to the right, over that rock, under that bridge, pero
Yes.
you're still moving forward. But you
Mhm.
brought up one thing among them all is the being, the height of a rhinoceros, because that's something if you don't have, you better quickly develop because
Yes, or leave, or get out
leave.
of the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to. And there have been so many times when I have had to be very angry with myself for different reasons, and also a bit upset with the person with whom I was dealing. And it takes a lot sometimes to just be courteous, and at the same time step up to the plate and say something that's valuable and important. And even if you don't get the job, you will have made an impression.
And you're right to take your place because you're a very outspoken woman. And I'm
Yes.
sure, as you said, sometimes it didn't work so well, perhaps in your favor, but I bet you did affect change by, graciously or strongly saying, well, this line is a little racist or whatever
Yes.
it can be.
Oh, yes, sure. Yeah, and the humor
Oh,
sometimes.
yes.
Humor helps a lot. I've gotten away with saying some things that were really important, and I got away with saying them because I said it with humor. And then we all had a laugh, but I had my say and I made my point.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's if you have it and you got it, and it's a good gift. I was watching another pistol as you are, Rita Moreno, last week on 60 Minutes. And
Yes.
the interviewer said something about having to be tough in this business, and she stopped him. And she said, she goes, not tough, resilient. And there's a difference with being tough and being resilient, right?
Yes, quite often people tell me, well, you're tough. And again, I correct them and I say, no, I don't like the word tough. I'm strong, yes. And I'm courageous. And I will say what I have to say, but tough, no. Strong, yes.
I agree. So we know you sing, you dance, you do film, you do television, you do theater, you do voiceovers, and you had a fabulous voiceover not long ago. Can we see this? This is at the premiere of Coco.
Oh, that's right.
That was look, we've all been to premieres in our day, but that was really over the top, wasn't it?
That was a premiere for sure. How they fixed the grounds and the streets with the marigolds and the mariachis playing and the folkloric dancers and the food and the festivities and the amount of people who were not of our culture and who were still participating with equal excitement and huge curiosity. That was a very exciting evening for sure.
It was very special. I mean, all of Hollywood Boulevard became this Dia de los Muertos and Coco. But
yes.
I had a wonderful moment because I was chatting away with somebody. I turned around and the red carpet was there, and you were on the red carpet. And I could see you from the back. And there was this wall of photographers, and you were standing there talking. And I was so happy. I really got so excited to see you there, and it was just a great moment. I enjoyed. That's when I ran over and grabbed you. We had the photo, but I can still see it. I can see you standing there facing all those cameras, and I was so happy for you.
Yes, it was one of the most exciting moments to see all of those foreign journalists, and the fact that I could talk to that I had been in Tokyo, that I had been in New Zealand, that I had been in Australia, that I had been in Caracas, that I had worked in Paris, that I had worked in Sydney, and it came so it was so useful because we had something to talk about, and they were kind of surprised to especially one from, I think it was Hong Kong, and I mentioned the hotel where I had worked, and he remembered the hotel, and it was now something else, something different than when I was there. But it was very satisfying to be able to contribute some conversation throughout that many parts of the world in which I had worked.
Especially today when it is a global industry, it's you know, it's a different world. You have worked in all media and all genres of entertainment, but your TV career has been really, especially on fire recently, and especially you have a new signature role with Lupita in Weeds, right?
Oh,
you got like a whole new fan base. Here you are.
I love doing that role. I really, really love doing that role. And I broke the stereotype because she was feisty and she spoke her mind and she was anything but stereotypical. She refused to do certain jobs and that it broke the mold of what your typical
Right.
was. And now we have a word that is a little softer and it's called nanny. But the truth of the matter is that I was a maid. But that was the last maid I played. And when I finished Weeds, I told my agent, that's a wonderful role that I'm very grateful to have had. And I loved every moment of it. But henceforward, Renee Victor does not play a maid. And I haven't.
I'm sure you had plenty. You got to eat, you got to build your career, but it's a good place to get to where you can kind of say no, right? Was
Yes.
Lupita pretty much like that on paper, on the script, or did a lot of it come as you became
No,
her?
I actually have to give Genji Kohan hands up praise for her magnificent writing. And also I was given very much of a green light in my attitude.
Mhm.
I delivered Lupita, but Genji Kohan wrote those lines, and boy, I loved saying them. I absolutely loved saying them, you know. So that's the lady who followed Weeds with Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Same writer.
How many times did you have to go into audition for Lupita?
Only once, and I almost did.
Once?
Only once.
Wow. That's
Only
fantastic. You
once,
nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah, well, it's a very cute little story because the audition called for one line, and I told my agent, I'm not going to audition one line. And she said, Renee, do you know this director? And she mentioned his name. I said, no. Do you know this casting director? And she mentioned her name. I said, no. She said, then let them know you. Go in, do the audition. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it. And it was just one line. And
wow.
When I saw that she was from El Salvador, I thought, what can I do with this line, you know? And so the line was, I love this show. And I said, I love this show.
That was it.
I love this show. And when we went to do the table reading, all the cast and the producers and directors, they were all sorting out all of the scripts at the tables with the names and everything, and they were all muttering, I love this show. So that's what it got me the job.
Wow. See, you never know. You never know in this damn business, you know? You just don't know.
You don't, and I almost didn't do it. And thanks to my agent, Marcia Herbie, may she rest in peace. She's the one who talked me into it, and she said, go and just let them now know you.
That's very wise advice.
It was very good advice, very good advice.
And you have an unbelievable new series. Oh my God, it sounds incredible with an amazing cast on Amazon. Tell me all.
Okay, well, again, it's a mold breaker, and I think that the lady whose concept it is, Gloria Calderon Kellett,
Yes.
just she did not miss one beat. It is really enveloping everything that we are faced with today, our trials and tribulations, our triumphs, our confusion, our anger, our all of everything that's going on today. This lady did not miss it. It's included. It's a 3-generation family. I'm the matriarch, and it's a splendid cast of young talent that I am so proud of, and I am so happy for them, because I think something is going to happen to all of them.
Well, they all have. Pepe Serna is a pioneer, you know, as
Plays
yourself.
my husband.
Yeah, and Benito Martinez, who did.
He's wonderful.
He's
I
a
love him.
fabulous actor, and Constance Marie, we love.
Yes.
So, and it's a 1 hour. It's a 1 hour series.
Yeah, I had worked with Pepe before, and in the show, it was a movie called Green Ghost, and Pepe and I played sweethearts. And in this series, we play husband and wife. But it was, I had a history with him, Constance Marie, who I taught when I did the choreography for the movie Salsa, directed by Kenny Ortega, and also the with Benito. I did a play with Benito La Posada at the South Coast Prep. So I had worked with 3 of the cast in television, and then theater. So again, it covered such a vast spectrum of the business.
And I do want to talk. Oh, by the way, it's called. What's the name of it? Where's Love? Right? Where's Love?
With love.
With love. With love. Okay.
Want me to translate it con amor?
Ay, mija, gracias, porque no hablo, yo no speak in Spanish.
You love this show.
I love this show. I do. Well, let's talk about theater for a little bit, because I think most people know you from television, from film, and we'll talk about your films later. But you worked at the Old Globe, at the Getty Theater, LATC, Milwaukee Rep, San Jose Rep, and I love a review you got there. You did a wonderful, and you sang and danced in My Visits with MGM.
Yes,
and the reviewer said, a tiny, joyous, enchanting performer with enough fizz for a magnum of champagne. Now, was he right? Do you think he was right?
I can drink a magnum. We had, yes, I love that. I was at a gift shop the next day, and it had for sale the theater reviews. And I was so scared to go and have a look. And then I walked very quietly up the shelf, and I picked out the magazine, and I opened it quietly without, hoping nobody looked at me, because if it was going to be bad, I was going to weep. And if it was going to be good, I was going to be very calm, of course. and it was so wonderful, and I was so thankful. And then I repeated that role at the
Milwaukee,
and then I repeated it on The Play's the Thing on NPR.
Wow! Oh, that's a wonderful series.
Yes,
that's fantastic. Now, you actually, interestingly enough, started your career very early on the stage. You started on the stage at age 10 in your hometown of San Antonio, a town I love. We have a photo. Now, that's not from the production, because you danced in the opera Carmen. But tell us about this little girl. Tell us about this little girl. What was she like?
Well, that little girl was precocious and always listening very carefully. In fact, they used to call me cuatro orejas for because I used to hear everything, and then I would say, but you said such and such and so, because I heard you, and I remember when you said this and that. And so that's the kind of child I was. But at that very picture, at that age, I think I was maybe 3 or 4, I already knew what I wanted to be. I never deviated from what it was that I envisioned myself as. I knew I had to sing, and I knew I had to dance, and I knew I had to act. I just knew I had to perform. And I knew it at an early age, and I never changed my mind.
And there was and no show business in your family?
None. It's a bunch of priests and nuns and bishops.
Ay, qué horror. But you know, did I say that out loud? No, but you know what? Quite a few people have told me things like that, you know, that they, you know, Linda Ronstadt said at age 3, she was listening to the radio, she started singing along, and she thought to herself, oh, I'm a girl singer, you know. Yeah, she just from hearing somebody. And where does that come from? That's so interesting, but a lot of people know early on.
There weren't a lot of people in show business per se in my family, except on a different level. My father's sister was a concert pianist, and she married a violinist, and she used to play the opening at the theaters. There were 3 very fancy theaters in San Antonio.
Oh yeah.
Majestic, the Aztec, and the Texas.
Right.
And before the curtains opened, there was this beautiful lady rolled in with a piano, and she played Lecuona and Albeniz and beautiful music. And that was my aunt, and she married, as I said, a violinist. And then my mother sang a lot, but I think that she married very early, but she sang in school, and she sang in the choir, and she had aunts who also were voice teachers. My grandmother played guitar. There were a lot of musicians on both sides of the family. But on my mother's side, there were vocalists, and on my father's side, there were musicians.
And I love the nickname they had for you. That is too fabulous. Do you have siblings, and did your parents encourage this career? Just came out of nowhere?
Not even for a minute did they encourage it. Absolutely, most strenuously, no.
And how did you wind up on the stage? Huh?
I got it very early. They did not approve of any lady being in show business.
Right.
As we go back into the annals of show business, there was a time when people didn't want to rent to actors. They didn't want to rent
sure.
to entertainers. We know that. So I don't know where, but I soon got it through the cuatro orejas. I soon got it that it was not a nice thing to be when you grew up. So I never admitted it. I never said anything except that if I was asked the question, what are you going to do when you grow up? I'm going to be a journalist. I'm going to be a photographer. I'm going to be a linguist. Well, I got pretty close to that in a way,
Yes,
but
yes.
I never admitted that I wanted to be an entertainer. In fact, when I danced in the opera Carmen, I went by myself to try out, and I went by myself to perform it. And then the next day, my father was with his friends, and they had a newspaper, and they showed it to him, and they said, isn't this little girl your daughter?
Oh my
Found out that I had performed in the opera Carmen.
How did you go by yourself? It was a different time, I guess.
Well, I was 10. I was 10. You know, I
10.
I was 10. I knew how to ride a bus. and that's how it happened. And I also went I matriculated myself in dance classes on my own. My parents did not take me. And when I did recitals, I must say, in all fairness to them, and respect and love. I have to say that they never, once I told them, I'm going to be in this show and I need a costume, they never refused to get it for me. They got me the costume and they got me the best and took me to a dressmaker and everything, but they never encouraged me to be in show business, even after I married. And my mother knew, and she came to Los Angeles and visited me in Lake Tahoe and visited me in Vegas, saw me performing, but I never heard her say, I'm glad you did. Or I'm glad you're doing what makes you happy, or when did you decide you were going to do this? There was never any question regarding it. I truly think in my heart that she never quite approved of it. I don't think so.
Well, bless them, at least they might not have approved, but at least they supported early on. As you say, they would get you the costume, begrudgingly
Yes,
perhaps,
they
but
did.
they did do it. You were always a strong lady. Even as a child, you were a strong lady, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, and I grew a little garden. They told me I wanted to grow an avocado tree, and they said avocados don't grow in Texas. I got that seed and I stuck pins and I put it in water and it grew roots and I buried it and I planted it and it gave a beautiful little avocado, but it never bore fruit. So, but I made it like a little playhouse. I used to play underneath it because it grew small, but full.
Like you, small but full.
I just caught myself in what I said.
Yes, you knew.
I said, I know Dan will run with this one.
Yes, I do. I want to talk about those glamorous days. We got a couple of photos when you were talking about traveling the world. This is in Caracas, TV show in Caracas.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes. It was a television show in Caracas, Venezuela. I worked Caracas, I worked Maracay, I worked Maracaibo and Valencia.
And we have another photo. I think there was, look at that. Look at that dress.
That's Tokyo.
Tokyo. But now here's the thing. Obviously, you were going with your sheet music and your fabulous outfits, but you also had two little girls.
I did. Yes.
Tell me about Raquel and wow, I blacked out. Margot. And how old were they? And do they have any memory of it?
Oh, they have memories. They have a lot of memories. And I also have like about 36 albums of pictures, and they're all labeled by country, you know, so Tokyo, Australia, and then cities. Wow. Vegas, and they remember a lot. And Margot is a filmmaker, and she graduated from Cal Arts. She's a sculptress and an artist.
Right.
Raquel is my assistant, and she's really learning this business very well. She's my apprentice, but she's also my assistant, and she's an entrepreneur and does a lot of stuff, a lot of things.
And she's right there near you. I want you, Raquel, you want to pop in?
Do you want to pop in, Mama? Come here. Come here and sit down with your mommy.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
Hi, how are you? You look great. You look great. Let me ask you, do you have any memory at all, a particular memory from all those days traveling and running? How old were you during those years?
I was in grade school, and I remember Australia. I mean, growing up for me was a lot of airplanes, a lot of airports, a lot of luggage, a lot of hotels. And I loved it. I loved the hotels. Are you kidding me? Ships and planes. We always got to meet the pilot. We always got to go up in the cockpit. You know, that was back when we had stewardesses, and they loved us.
Wow, what
That's true. In fact, you know, when I flew from Hawaii to Australia, I was with the two girls, just me and the two girls, and we were the only ones on the plane. And the girls, the stewardesses went crazy with playing with the girls, and they took them into the cockpit, and there they were sitting on the pilot's laps as we. Oh my God, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but that's the truth. That's the truth.
And nowadays you couldn't get into the cockpit with if your life depended on it. Thank
No.
God.
No,
Different
not at all.
times, but wow. Well, that was a great growing up for you. But you never
Yes, it
wanted to go
was.
into show business yourself.
You know, there's a lot that I love about it. The music, the writing music, the behind the scenes part of it is very fascinating to me.
But not enough to go into the business.
Not like my parents, no.
Yeah,
That
I
wasn't
don't
my-
blame you
my
actually. I want to talk about your mom's sense of style. You always, and those gowns we saw, we have another slinky dress here, I think. Where is that? Look at that.
Oh, yeah, that was in Las Vegas, and I introduced the see-through look.
I'll say.
I
With a vengeance.
introduced it. Yep.
But where did
I
this,
re-
because everyone knows the minute you walk in anywhere, you're in an unbelievable, fantastic outfit and lots of classic styles that you can wear today because you're the same size you were, I think, your whole life.
Pretty much, thank God. Yeah, I'm still a size 2.
So where did that sense of style come from?
My mother, unequivocally my mother. Yes, she cared very much about how she looked and how she dressed, and she instilled it in us at a very, very early age, very early age. And so, yes, I give her all the credit. My mother, absolutely.
Because you always do look fan. You were even a shoe model at some point, a shoe model.
Yes, I
right?
was. I was a shoe model. I got pictures of those too. And I still have some of the shoes. And when I did Vida, I had a call back after the audition. And when I walked in, Tanya Saracho was sitting there with the director, and they looked at the shoes and they forgot all about the audition. Oh, look at those shoes. And so then I had the opportunity to tell them about the shoe modeling experience. And it was, it's much more than just putting on a pair of shoes and walking in them in front of a buyer. You have to be available to the designers, and you have to be constantly lending your feet and putting the shoe that has this opening or that close, or that does it, is it going to have a T-strap? Is it going to have an ankle strap? And you're putting shoes on and off, and you sit in an office and you wait for your name to be called. Renee Victor, designer's room.
Weird.
To get the little shoes on, and I still have quite a few of them.
But let me ask you, you brought up auditioning and going in the room. I mean, Blanca Valdez, you know, Blanca, casting
Yes.
director, she did the happy hour, and we were talking about the new, I don't even know what to call it, audition process where you don't always get to go in the room. Now it's you have to go on an iPhone and you have to send it in, and the whole person-to-person process is gone. And yet the things we've talked about, you were in the room. Do you not have to do a lot of that auditioning and sending in tapes and everything?
I don't do any of it. No, I'm an offers only actor. So that's it. Take it or leave it, folks.
Good. Because it's absurd. It takes the whole human element out of it. You don't,
Yeah,
the whole point- Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
thought, first of all, they were charging $65 to go and audition in a homemade setup in somebody's hall or bedroom or whatever, So I just kind of said, no, I'm not going to be doing that, and for a maybe. So I had a talk with my agent, and my agent said, I was just waiting for you to tell me, Renee, I'll put out the announcement, and that's it.
Good for you, because it's ridiculous. How many times in a casting session, someone walks in and you're sitting there going, no, they're not right. And then they do a reading and it's something you didn't expect at all. And then you say, try it this way. You see how they take direction and all that's gone now. And when you send in the a tape and they look at it, he's not right. Click. They don't even see your audition. It's just, I'm amazed.
It's the biggest disservice to an actor that I
Yes.
possibly think of, because you have to, the lighting isn't right, you can't go to studios, you can't go anywhere. You have to do with what is being offered and what is available for you to use as an audition. And one auditor said to me, you know, Renee, in your case, you've got so many credits. When is it enough?
Never.
I think you should go home and call your agent, because I think it is enough. So that's what I did.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
If more actors stand up to it, maybe they will change it, but I'm afraid there's no going back now. It's just, I just find it so.
It's a great injustice to the actor, and it's the most impossible way to audition. And it is, you're not at your best and you're not at your greatest comfort. And both are suffering because they're not getting the best of you and you're not giving them the best of you. So it's complicated any way you look at it.
Yeah. And unfulfilling in every way as well.
Yes.
I have a friend who lives nearby, and can you come over and read off screen? And she's setting up the iPhone and she's doing this and she's all
Yes.
and the lighting, and they want to only see it from here up. And then I'm going, this is really disgusting.
Yes, and it keeps getting more and more demanding. Be sure that you don't wear such and such. Be sure that the wall behind you is so and so.
Right, right.
Oh, wait a minute. No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I had to put a stop to it.
When does the Amazon series start? When does
December 17th on Amazon with love.
it's going to be and in 1 hour? That's fantastic, because you really get a chance to build your character and get the menu and not have to rush it in 22 minutes.
And the wonderful experience for me is that all of the directors were female.
Ah.
Yes, and there were several Latina directors, and I'm seeing more and more of that, which makes my heart glow.
Of course.
Just so excited about seeing the cooperation in the industry, long overdue, may I say, but they are now giving chances to so many women, and it makes me very happy.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
And Latinos. I remember as a kid, I was probably a teenager, and we went to Mexico City, and my dad had some business at Churubusco Studios, you know, which was like MGM. And we went, and I remember being so shocked because everybody was Mexican. All the people behind the cameras, and I was like, I had never seen Mexicans on a movie set. Because up here, especially in the 50s, for God's sake, you know, even today, but in the 50s, it was a white person's industry. And I remember just being so shocked and feeling so good about it, seeing all those brown people behind the cameras and grips and everything, you know. So maybe we'll live that long to see it here in LA.
Yeah, it's invigorating. It's invigorating, and in moments, it's even emotional when I see that woman behind the camera and notes and coming up to me, and then there's this lovely young lady Latina giving me a note, and I just would want to hug, but we couldn't because COVID doesn't let.
Yeah, that's right.
No hugging, no kissing.
Yeah, but you're right. It is emotional. It is personally emotional.
Yes.
You know, just to see that.
Yeah, and invigorating, and it is such a hopeful situation, because you can envision the beauty that it's got to inevitably lead to. It can only get better.
And we got to see it. We're still here to see it.
Yes, yes, absolutely, for sure.
I thank you so much. And we're going to do a few Q&A here, but thank you, Mija, so much. And even though I haven't had my frijoles borrachos, I'm still glad that you came on today.
That's, honey, I will make those frijoles for you. It's the last thing I do. And I'll tell you, we'll have more than that.
Okay, it sounds like a plan after the holidays. Abelardo, there's my pal back. Any people been writing in, or what have you been doing? Here's to you, Mija. Thank you.
Here's to you, and Merry Christmas to you and your viewers.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Renee. That was fascinating. Thank you, Dan, for the insightful questions there. Oh, we have a couple more here from Nancy Meneses here on Facebook. She's asking, Renee, what challenges did you face as a minority when you first started your career?
Every single one of them. Ethnicity, gender, even size. That was against me too, you know. So, but I overcame. I overcame because it does take strength, and it does take a lot of character. It takes patience and a great amount of understanding that they actually want the best for you. And the reason you are doing an audition is because somebody likes you and wanted to see your work. So you need to change your mind and feel that you're still getting the opportunity. If it works out, good. And if it doesn't, forward, something else will happen.
Because the audition process is an art unto itself. I mean, you may not be in this position anymore, but you know, an actor and actress will go in and there's 12 people sitting on a bench. All of them could probably do the damn role, you know, and you see the same people each time, and to get your head around that and be okay with it is very difficult.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, you just really, I remember one time that I had an audition and the circumstances upset me and I did not do a good job. And then I left there and I was in such a rage and I was so upset, and I caught myself while driving and crying. And then I stopped myself and I said, wait just 1 minute. And I talked to myself, as I still often do. And I said, this is the last time that you get this upset. Never again. Henceforward, you do the audition, you walk out of there, and then the last words you say are, the hell with it. It's done.
And it's over.
And I had to have a long talk to myself, because I was so upset. Nothing was how I expected or wanted, and I don't even remember now, but I only remember that it was for a movie, and I promised myself that I would never do that to myself again, and I haven't. I've kept my word to me.
And you told yourself out loud.
Yes, yes.
I do too. I talk to myself all the time so that I
Oh,
really
sure.
hear it, and I really hear it. You know, you
Yes.
got to train yourself. The worst,
Yes.
one of the worst audition stories I ever heard, a friend of mine, a Black actress, was at some audition, 9 other Black ladies, all the same age, style, on a bench waiting, and they're all chatting, they all know each other, and in walks Diane Carroll, who to me was the greatest. Diane Carroll was fantastic. Diane Carroll walks in, sits at the end of the bench, and opens a book. And all the other actors was like, oh, Diane Carroll, no, Miss Carroll, you go next. She's, oh no, I'm fine, no problem. And she stayed there with her book. And how she must have talked to herself at one point, but it pissed me off because, like, it's Diane Carroll. You couldn't bring her in on a lunch break when nobody else was there. Or, I mean, what is that? What is that lack of respect for actors? What is that? I want you to tell me. No, isn't that outrageous though? How could you not have a Diane Carroll come in, you know, for a separate audition? You don't have to take her to dinner and wine and diner, but has not she earned, you know, a little respect?
Exactly, exactly. But, you know, I don't know who coined this phrase or who thought of it first, but I early in the game heard that it was the world's most unpredictable business And it is, Dan.
No question.
It is the most unpredictable business amongst all businesses. So
Look at you going for one line and you didn't want to, and look what happens. How could you have known?
I know.
What else, Abelardo? You look very snappy in that cap, by the way.
Thank you very much. Little commercial for La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. We have them at our gift shop. $29.95. No, I'm just kidding. Question for Renee. Is there a role you would do now that you tried to get in the past, but you didn't get?
Is there a role that I did not get in the past, but that I would do now? No. History is history, and it's all water under the bridge. I'm going forward.
All right, great answer. We have a comment here. When you were talking about your family being nuns and priests and the clergy, Nancy Menezes says, being in the clergy is like being in a big show. There's recitals, there's costumes, and there's strips.
Yes,
but
she's right, because that's where my mother's family and all those glorious voices had their day in the choirs, and Christmas Eve, Mother's Day, first Friday of the month, so many things that are part of our Catholic culture. And yes, a lot of opportunities for good singers, for sure.
Well, not just singers, but
production.
It is theater. It's a production.
It is a production.
Although I will tell you a quick story. At my dad's mass after he passed at the cathedral in Tucson, where he had been baptized, married my mom, etc. And it was, I guess, a high mass. There were like 3 bishops and blah, blah. Linda sang and la-di-da. And I go behind the pulpit and I see, it was like the scene in Cinderella, you know, when the birds, and they're dressing her for the ball. And this bishop was standing there with his arms like this, just standing. And there were 3 boys putting on his velvet slippers, putting on the lace, putting on. And I walked in and I said, showtime. He gave me a look. I'm telling you, he did not consider, but you're telling me that's not a show. That is a production. It's a theater piece. The costumes, the insect, but he did not appreciate it at all.
A little more serious, but yes. And humor happens right after the gospel. You know what I mean?
I was not a good Catholic growing up. Anything else, Abelardo?
Well, we have Yesi Miyamuro. Saludos. Great to see you again from Pasadena, California. Thank you so much for joining us, Yesi. And Maria Carrillo, big laugh. I don't know at what moment but she was really enjoying herself. And then on Zoom, we had Chris Morales and Lorraine Tafoya joining us. So thank you so much for joining us here in Casa con la Plaza. Thank you so much, Renee.
You're very welcome, Abelardo. What a joy to have met you, even though it's on the screen, but I hope to meet you in person very soon. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I'll see you in the new year, God willing, right?
Okay, my darling.
Okay.
With my friend, Dan.
Salud. Bye.
Well, thank you so much. All of you out there, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you came in later, you want to see it again, we recorded it. We'll be posting it on our Zoom page at La Plaza LA. It'll be on our Facebook page at lapca.org, and it's also on our Facebook page. We and all of Dan's happy hours are posted, and I'm posting the playlist right there on Zoom. I'm posting it on Facebook as well, so you can catch. How many have we done so far, Dan? Dan? Oh, Dan.
I think like 45 or something. I don't really know, but it's still, I'm trying to figure out, do I look here? Do I look there? I still don't know, but what the hell, we have a good time.
And we're catching on. Well, and in a couple of weeks, you'll be back and we'll be doing this one. Dan Guerrero Holiday Happy Hour.
That's going to be really fun because the three ladies are fantastic. I saw the show at LATC, Sandra and Maria and Diana. I think Diana was the one who had the original idea for it. And they did it in New York off Broadway, big hit. And they're going to be at, as I said, at Noise Within. So they'll be fresh from that triumph when they do our show. So bye, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you the 17th.
All right, fantastic, Dan. We'll see you soon. And also,
Okay.
before that, everybody out there, this Monday coming up, we have our big friend Jimena Martin as the host for En Casa con la Plaza Cocina, hosting churros with Wendy Centeno, from Guayaba Kitchen. And then on Friday, we're going to skip Wednesday because our dear friend and colleague and my boss, John Echeveste, is having a retirement party from his old position. So he's having it on a Wednesday. So we're taking En Casa con la Plaza off the air for that one day. But then on Friday, we have a group from Mexico City called Spanglish. It sounds a mix of traditional music, modern music. I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a conversation and a performance next Friday, December 10th at 7 o'clock here at En Casa con la Plaza. Thanks so much to all of you that joined us and to our sponsors, including CVS Aetna, Union Pacific Foundation, and also the California Humanities, National Endowment for the Humanities, and the Institute of Museum and Library Services. So with that, please join us next time we're on. Come to the museum. It'll be a nice weekend with the holiday decorations there at Calle Principal. Donate to Spark of Joy. But enjoy yourselves during this weekend. It'll be a little chilly, but keep warm, stay safe. Y nos vemos muy pronto. Hasta la próxima. Buenas noches.